Oh, what you do is you use it to create a hill. When you look in the distance, far over there where my house is, what do you see? Lots and lots of tall things with leaves. Trees. So in order to grow, you need to have a field. And in order to do that, you have to do what to the trees?
Chop them.
Chop them down. So what are you left with after you chop down a tree? That's it. Well, you're left with the remainder, right?
A stump.
You're left with a stump. And they didn't have stump grinders. Very expensive. This I know because I have lots of trees. So you would plant the corn in between the stumps. And because of that, you would need to make hills in the soil to plant it. So you will create our hill here. Ava, back up, sweetie. Can you do that? All of the tools are made with wool and this heavy metal. Is that easy to do?
No. That doesn't look easy.
That's hard work.
You gotta keep going.
Kind of looks easy.
Now you need,
That looks really
you
easy.
need to do 12,000 of those. Can you come back in a little bit of time?
See, it's harder than that.
Okay, who's got my bucket? So you need, so in order to, let's step back a minute. In order to grow tobacco, you start in winter. You plant seeds in a bed, like the bed in the garden, and you make little seedlings. You then transplant them into these hills. And I mentioned that each plant needs a bucket of water a week if it does not do what?
Grow.
What falls from the sky to water the plants? Rain. So if it doesn't rain, what's your name?
Zoe.
Zoe has to run down to the river, grab a bucket of water, and do it 12,000 times. But don't worry, we have a yoke you could wear around your neck so you could carry 2 buckets. What we've done is we have a bucket right over there. I need you to walk over there and carry that bucket.
That's here.
I'm losing everybody today with allergies. And it's tree. I'm going to help you, Zoe, because is that heavy? You got it? Good on you.
Wow, good for you,
Okay.
Zoe.
Look at her arms.
They're not farm
You would
kids.
have great arms. You know, okay, guys. I'm strong.
I'm strong.
You? Okay, now you're going to pretend to water that tobacco plant.
Pretend with water.
Well, you could, there's no tobacco plant.
Yeah, so they'll splash on you. Watch out.
Pour all of it. All of it? Make it a giant mud
Yeah,
puddle.
you could do all of it. Everybody's been through.
A giant mud puddle. Yeah.
Mud. Watch mud.
Come on.
Okay, now you only have to do that another 11,900. Put that bucket back.
All the way to the river.
And coming back,
So
yeah.
Ben would do that. For the tobacco plants, they had 3 to 4 acres of tobacco, 3 to 4 acres of corn, 3 to 4 acres of cotton.
6.
Yes.
I left my water bottle in the back. What time is it?
Well, we'll get it after. Our last stop is here. And who is my last person?
Caleb.
Come on with me. We'll follow Caleb into the tobacco.
We're gonna follow Caleb. Hold your nose in.
Okay, come on in.
Have a seat, guys. So this is our tobacco barn. Like I mentioned, we start planting tobacco in the winter. Okay, Caleb? Caleb has an example of what tobacco seeds look like. I want you to show each person how small those seeds are. So in the winter, you would make a bed, like the garden, the kitchen garden. You would dump out some of those tobacco seeds and you would broadcast them on the ground. You would do that in January and February. Show them how small those seeds are. You cannot plant those one at a time. It would take a couple of months for those plants to grow into seedlings. Seedlings are about this big. That's where they plant them in the tobacco hills.
You want to answer? It will take 10 years.
So January and February, you would do this. In the spring, March, April, May, you would replant the
Thank you.
seedlings. Has everyone seen those? Great. Now you are going to show this, which is what you have. This is a tobacco hornworm. In the summer, this is your biggest nightmare. This is not actual size, but it shows you the detail. It also shows you the color. This green hornworm is on green leaves. What kind of defense is it using? Hold on, Jake.
Protect itself.
Camouflage. So by now in the summer, the tobacco plants are tall. They're about as tall as me. They have their leaves coming out of their heads. The head of the plant. Caleb or Ben would have to go leaf by leaf looking for the tobacco hornworm. The jar has the real size of the tobacco hornworm. It is dead, but it's preserved.
Is it alive? Oh,
It's dead, but it's preserved.
what's preserved?
Well, it won't decompose in that water. So he would have to find a worm that is about as big as your thumb.
Boys and girls, voices off, please, listen. AC, listen to what Samantha's saying, this is important.
Yeah, I can tell.
Come on, this is kind of cool. So that little hornworm that's about as big as your thumb is green on the leaf. Ben would have to go through 12,000 plants. Look for that little hornworm on the leaf. Throw it down on the ground and smush it. We never talked about their shoes.
It's the pretend.
Ben would have one pair of shoes a year. Do you think he would wear those shoes in the summer? So when he was smushing that tobacco hornworm, he was smushing that hornworm, but don't worry about it because he would run to the river and dunk his feet in to clean them off and then water.
Yeah, just wash.
That's what he should have done, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because that plant will leave in the fall, you take it back. Chop down the plants. Look over here, guys. That is the tobacco plant.
Probably
You'll
good
notice
for you.
these are the leaves.
It's a lot of nutrition.
This is the head which goes to seed.
Matthew, look up.
Mr. Bolton would save the best seeds to replant for next year. The tobacco goes in this barn for 4 to 6 weeks. Please don't touch it. The barn is raised so that you can have proper ventilation. You would wait for the leaves to be the right consistency. Did you put those back in there for me?
Yep.
Thank you. Because if this has to travel in this horsehead barrel to England, it can't be too dry because it would do what? It would all break and crumble and you couldn't smoke it. Once it's the right consistency, you strip the leaves, you put it in this. I'm waving my what? It looks like a dried ham. All the leaves are wrapped and then fried and put in the barrel. This hogshead barrel, empty, weighs 100 pounds. Full, it would need to weigh 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
That's 900 pounds of tobacco. Why do you think the barrel is round?
So, because it has more space, because if it was straight, then it would just...
That is a really good example, but it's 1,000 pounds. Why do you think it's round?
Because
Let Jagan talk.
I'm actually a super for the village things.
Uh-huh.
It's so that you can roll it.
Exactly, because you're not lifting 1,000 pounds. Maybe with the cows, hopefully we'll see them on the way out, because we didn't get to see them. Our Devon cows are really big animals, but this would be very hard for them. So you would roll it down rolling road. Maybe some of you live on a rolling road. Or you would roll it down to the river. You would be inspected by somebody from King George. He would take each and every plant out. He would look at it leaf by leaf, make 2 piles. The one pile that is good, you would get paid for it. The one pile that he would deem bad, you would not get paid for it, and it would be burned on the spot. So some years you could have a really good year and get 1,000 pounds of tobacco. Some years you would only get 200 pounds of tobacco. That's why they took them so long to save for the house. Are there any questions? Thank you so much. No question? One question.
How does the water...
Treated them.